hurricane season, June 1st through November 30th. During this time, South Floridians must stay alert and up to date on weather conditions which have the potential to change our lives. MBTV welcomes you to plan and prepare hurricanes and beyond. I'm Julia Yarbo. For the next 30 minutes, we'll provide a host of information to help you safely navigate through hurricane season. We'll help you identify common weather terms, talk with emergency management experts, walk you through practical steps you can take to protect your property and keep your family safe. We visit the National Hurricane Center to hear from weather experts. And we go behind the scenes with some of the men and women who travel into the eyes of storms to gather vital information which helps all of us. Hurricane preparedness begins with personal preparedness. That includes arming ourselves with as much information as possible about storms and other emergency situations.
We're ready, and all we ask is that folks educate themselves, get ready, and if and when it's going to happen, please follow our leads, because you've got professionals who know what they're talking about. Don't go by old wives' tales or rumors. Take this stuff seriously, because if it is a strong hurricane, it's something you don't want to live through.
Andrew, Wilma, Sandy, Katrina. They are names which carry a somber reminder of the fierce destruction possible at the hands of Mother Nature in the form of hurricanes. These named storms slammed into the United States, each taking lives, obliterating property, and leaving emotional scars for millions of residents. And when it comes to weather, history often repeats itself.
In a state like Florida and a city like Miami Beach, we know that we're going to be impacted by hurricanes. We know that even though we've had a nice long spell without one, that they are going to happen again.
Plan and prepare. It is, say emergency management experts, one line of defense should we find ourselves in the line of a storm. Understanding tropical weather systems and the havoc they can wreak is the first step towards preparedness. The Atlantic hurricane season is officially from June 1st to November 30th. Hurricanes can and have occurred outside these 6 months, but 97% of tropical activity occurs during this time frame. According to the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, better known as NOAA, September is the most common month for Atlantic hurricanes. Not all destructive storms, however, are hurricanes. Systems traditionally form in the eastern Atlantic and, based on tropical features, are then classified and tracked by meteorologists. A tropical depression is an organized system of clouds and thunderstorms with a defined circulation and winds of 38 miles per hour or less. A tropical storm is an organized system of strong thunderstorms with maximum sustained winds of 39 to 73 miles per hour. A hurricane is an intense tropical weather system of strong thunderstorms with maximum sustained winds of 74 miles per hour or higher.
We are the state most prone to hurricanes. South Florida is the part of the state most prone to, of Florida prone to those hurricanes. And Miami Beach is specifically vulnerable to hurricanes, both because of its position as a barrier island.
Residents are urged to keep an eye on weather reports during storm season and heed the advice of emergency officials. Storms can change direction, speed, and intensity without warning. Via the National Hurricane Center, which tracks storms, local news outlets provide coverage and updates. And for information specific to Miami Beach, emergency management officials hand out information via email and social media. And don't let the current weather conditions fool you. Beautiful sunny skies could be deceptive. Here are some terms you need to know which indicate the strength and proximity of a storm. Hurricane watch means a hurricane may hit our area within 48 hours. Hurricane warning means a hurricane is expected to hit our area within 36 hours. The Saffir-Simpson scale. This is the 1 to 5 rating based on the hurricane's peak wind speed. A Category 1 storm has sustained winds of 74 to 95 miles per hour. A Category 2 storm has sustained winds of 96 to 110 miles per hour. A Category 3 storm has sustained winds of 111 to 130 miles per hour. A Category 4 storm has sustained winds of 131 to 155 miles per hour. A Category 5 storm has sustained winds of 156 miles per hour or higher.
Hurricanes are going to hit Florida, but there are things we can do to get ready for it.
Preparation is key. So it's understanding your risk. That's number one. Even before you can write your plan, you got to understand your risk. If you're in a flood zone, your evacuation zone, know the zone, and you have to get away from the water. So if you're in that flood zone, know where you're going to go to get to high ground. It may not be far, but you got to get out of the area that can flood.
When we come back, fortifying your home against a storm. Hear from the experts, emergency management officials, and a lifelong Miami Beach resident who spell out exactly what you need in order to properly plan and prepare. But first, some useful safety tips to help you weather a storm.
Miami Beach. Be informed. Have a plan. Make a kit. Remember these 3 important points to stay safe this hurricane season. Be informed. Stay tuned for local alerts, watches, and warnings. All the latest information is broadcasted on your local stations as well as MB Radio 1670 AM. Information is also updated regularly on our website at www.miamibeachfl.gov. Sign up on our site for MB Alerts, Miami Beach's emergency notification system, to get email, text, and calls about emergency situations.
Sparky the Fire Dog here. Make sure your family has a fire escape plan and practices it twice a year. It's important to make sure that your escape plan has 2 ways out of each room in your home. Protect your family from fire. For more information, visit sparky.org.
Welcome back to Plan and Prepare, Hurricanes and Beyond, an MBTV special presentation to help you safely navigate hurricane season. Severe storm systems can cause catastrophic damage to property and claim lives. But there are some practical steps homeowners can take to increase the chances storm damage will be minimal and family members are safe.
The most important thing is to develop a plan, make sure you have a plan, and you practice that plan. So that get with your family, figure out what you're going to do. If you live in an evacuation area, try to set up a place that you're going to go. You don't have to go. I mean, a lot of people, what they end up doing is they go to as far as they can get. But if you go inland, you should be safe. So develop a plan and practice the plan. Make sure you know what you're going to do with it, and that should keep you safe.
Born and raised here on Miami Beach, homeowner Jeff Gordon has experienced more than his share of hurricanes and tropical storms.
If you have an idea of what you need to do, then you won't go crazy worrying what to do.
He knows the drills, so to speak, when it comes to being prepared. First, Gordon makes sure his home is protected, exactly what emergency managers advise. In May, the month before the official start of the hurricane season, Gordon tests his shutters, makes sure everything is in working order. And he has all the necessary safety tools on hand: a sturdy, well-anchored ladder, safety goggles, and heavy-duty, durable work gloves.
I'll check the bolts, and then the shutters I never handle without the gloves. The old-style shutters are very sharp, and they're light, but they're dangerous.
And what about supplies? It's advised to have a personal and family emergency preparedness kit. Some items are to secure your home. Others are needed should you have to evacuate. Still others for when you return home. After years of personal experience, Gordon has a full arsenal.
We have the lanterns, the flashlights, the radio, the portable TV. The 3rd week of May, I go through and I just check make sure that all the radios are good. The lanterns are charged and the flashlights are available. And then I'll do a Costco run, and we'll load up again on new batteries and canned goods. and then we'll go to Publix and we'll pick up a few cases of water.
How much food and water should we have on hand to weather a storm? Emergency managers advise maintaining a 2-week supply of food and drink, including water. Rule of thumb is 1 gallon per person per day for at least 3 days. Special dietary needs: canned goods such as meats, fruits, and soups, dry cereal, bread, dry or non-refrigerated milk, and, if applicable, baby food, and don't forget to stock enough food for your pets. Because each storm is different, there is no one surefire plan, say emergency officials, other than to plan ahead and be ready for anything and everything. Gordon agrees. He offers some practical tips for storm newcomers.
You need to be able to prepare, perhaps not over-prepare, but prepare. And then if and when it doesn't pass, you've learned from it. And if it does happen, Lord forbid, you at least are prepared for it.
In the event the storm does not pass and emergency officials call for an evacuation, it's advisable to have a go bag prepared. It should include important documents in an airtight bag, a small supply of non-perishable food, medicines and prescription drugs, a change of clothing. And when you go, take your pets with you. Emergency managers stress, take the time before a storm is approaching to have a plan in place for your family and home and have your supplies ready. As a seasoned South Florida resident, Gordon adds, listen to emergency officials for information and heed the warnings.
You never feel completely safe. All you can do is do the best you can and, prepare and pray, I guess. That's the best I can do.
How does Miami Beach prepare for storm season? Coming up right here on Plan and Prepare, Hurricanes and Beyond, a look at how Miami Beach Emergency Management, Fire, and Ocean Rescue work in tandem to ensure residents are safe. And we'll hear from the man who leads the National Hurricane Center, how scientists are using new technology to enhance weather forecasting. Stay with us.
Miami Beach. Be informed. Have a plan. Make a kit. Remember these 3 important points to stay safe this hurricane season. Have a kit. Put together a disaster supply kit including a flashlight, batteries, cash, first aid supplies, and copies of your critical information. Make sure to have enough supplies, food, and necessities to last at least 10 days. And don't forget your pets. Plan for them as well and make sure they stay comfortable and safe. Plan and prepare now so you can be safe during a storm. For more information, log on to www.miamibeachfl.gov.
When visiting Miami Beach, enjoy our wonderful, beautiful beaches. But be aware that the ocean can present several dangers, and the main danger is a rip current. A rip current is a channel of water that will take you away from the beach. So we recommend that you swim outside of the rip current by swimming parallel or sideways to the beach. Even if the waters look calm, the rip currents can be silent but deadly. Always check the warning flags at your nearby lifeguard stand. They serve as a warning for swimming conditions for the day. Remember to swim near a lifeguard, and when in doubt, don't go out. When swimming in the ocean, it's always good to swim with a buddy. And remember to always stay safe and swim smart.
Teamwork. In emergency situations, residents can feel confident City of Miami Beach first responders are working together to ensure the safety of lives and property. Fire, police, ocean rescue, and emergency management members operate as a cohesive unit. And in emergency situations, even citizen volunteers are called into action.
The biggest mistake that is ever made is falling into that complacency. You're better off being prepared and making sure that nothing happens than waiting to see if something does happen. Typically you fare a lot better once you do prepare yourself.
And the city of Miami Beach is prepared. Across all departments, team members have specific duties and roles to assume once the threat of a storm is imminent.
We helped with the evacuation. We helped with those people that couldn't take care of themselves. That was before the hurricane. During the hurricane, we actually responded a couple of times to gas leaks. In very dangerous situations, there was actually a gas leak fire that we responded to. We prepared as well as we could. We had boats here in order to take people out if we needed to. And after the hurricane, the proudest thing I can say that after the hurricane, we took care of a lot of elderly residents that had decided to stay here. And we went there and visited them daily and make sure that they, we didn't have a tragedy like, had happened elsewhere. So we did a really good job there.
At the Emergency Management Department, experts use this planning room as ground zero to gather information, coordinate resources, deploy the necessary help from utilities, county, state, and federal agencies, whatever is needed in an emergency.
We're coming, sir. We're coming.
Volunteers, members of the Community Emergency Response Team, known as CERT, are trained in hands-on emergency rescue situations. They are ready to assist in times of need. Ordinary citizens who learn basic first aid, light search and rescue, fire control. In the event first responders are unable to reach everyone, these volunteers could very well help save lives.
Emergency response team is here to help.
Help! Hey, I need help. My partner is injured.
Miami Beach Police, Ocean Rescue, and Fire Rescue work in tandem to protect lives and property. Pre- and post-storm, police patrol to guard against break-ins or looting, ensuring resident safety. Ocean Rescue personnel secure our beaches.
It becomes extremely challenging because typically we get a lot of surfers out there. They want to take advantage of the high waves, and so it becomes a challenge for them to make sure that everybody is out of the beach and accounted for.
Miami Beach Fire Chief Virgil Fernandez reminds residents they must also take responsibility for this emergency response teamwork. If there are orders to evacuate, evacuate. Leave the island. Plan ahead. Have necessary items, food, water, medicines, pet needs. And know your own ability level when working with shutters, power tools, and the like. Chief Fernandez says many emergency calls come in after a storm, individuals injured in post-storm cleanup. In West Miami-Dade, meteorologists and scientists at the National Hurricane Center are hard at work gathering crucial information to be passed to Miami Beach emergency management officials. It is here that storms are tracked, current positions, projected paths, strength. Crucial information passed along to media outlets, emergency officials, and residents. 24/7, scientists are on duty watching every weather disturbance forming that could pose a threat to the U.S. New technology is now in place, giving Miami Beach residents even more specific weather information.
2017 allowed us to test a lot of new things, and we talk about storm surge being half the fatalities in a tropical system. We had the new storm surge watch and warning last year. It just, we're trying to really highlight some of this stuff, so that's a best practice. We're going to continue with that. We have a lot of products that we tested last year. The potential tropical cyclone product, it doesn't sound like much, but it's a big deal because we can actually issue watches and warnings before the storm develops. And that allows an emergency manager to get more time on the timeline, more preparedness for the city. So that part is exciting.
Because Miami Beach is a cultural melting pot, emergency managers also recognize the need to get crucial information to all members of the community, regardless of language, ethnicity, race, or religion. The National Weather Service offers dedicated messaging for foreign language updates, and Miami Beach officials work closely with various religious organizations, stressing that public safety takes precedent over individual cultural observances.
Another initiative that we're taking is something called Everbridge. It's a notification system for all the citizens, visitors, that will give improved information, on-time information for the citizens of Miami Beach. Along with that, we have a very active social media department that I encourage everyone to check on. Facebook, Twitter, I believe also Instagram, that a lot of information is on there. So please, during, before, after, check your social media and you'll be getting a lot of good information through there.
How do weather forecasters and emergency management officials on the ground gather the most up-to-date weather information when a storm is approaching? When we come back, you'll meet the Hurricane Hunters, an elite team of scientists and aviators who go into the heart of storms, literally. But first, sea level rise versus storm surge. Do you know and understand the difference? Miami Beach recently installed a series of stormwater pumps designed to stave off the effects of sea level rise. After heavy rains or during king tide season, excess water is pumped into the bay. The pumps are designed to alleviate flooding. Hurricanes, on the other hand, can bring rising water in the form of dangerous storm surge.
So if you really look at the statistics in history, 50% of fatalities in tropical systems is the storm surge. Another 25% is the inland rain. And if you add the offshore, 90% of fatalities in tropical systems is water. The entire conversation that we have to be having is about water, and that's what's really hurting people, and that's what we need to know the risk, understand that, and get away from the water.
Miami Beach. Be informed. Have a plan. Make a kit. Remember these 3 important points to stay safe this hurricane season. Be informed. Stay tuned for local alerts, watches, and warnings. All the latest information is broadcasted on your local stations as well as MB Radio 1670 AM. Information is also updated regularly on our website at www.miamibeachfl.gov. Sign up on our site for MB Alerts, Miami Beach's emergency notification system, to get email, text, and calls about emergency situations.
Hi, I'm Roy Coley with the City of Miami Beach's Public Works Department, and we want you to know how to report standing water anywhere in our city. If you see standing water for more than 48 hours, we want you to notify us via our free eGov app or our 24/7 control room hotline. Why is it 48 hours? Because it takes from 7 to 14 days from the time a female mosquito lays her eggs until they become adults, and that gives us time to address it. If for some reason standing water cannot be removed, for instance with storm drains, we apply an environmentally friendly larvicide that does not allow mosquito eggs to develop into adults. Now, have you noticed some standing water on the boardwalks by the showers? That water is highly unlikely to be a breeding ground for mosquitoes. It comes from our drinking water system and it's treated. Also, it's continuously moving. Now don't forget, y'all, drain and cover. Do your part to fight the bite.
Meteorologists at the National Hurricane Center work around the clock during hurricane season, keeping tabs on tropical activity. How do they gather real-time data on characteristics of specific storms? With the help of the elite team of hurricane hunters. If it sounds somewhat ominous, that's because it is. When a storm is approaching, this group of well-trained United States Air Force scientists, meteorologists, and aviation experts load up into the ultra-durable C-130. An aircraft able to withstand most everything and fly right into hurricanes to gather as much scientific information as possible about the composition of the storm.
We go out there, we figure out what's going on, and we can exactly pinpoint the storms, the winds that the storm has, the effects that it could have for the population.
Like most emergency operations, the hurricane hunters don't work alone. While the pilot navigates the C-130 through the interior bands of the hurricane, this aircraft, flown by the National Oceanic Atmospheric Administration, NOAA experts, flies on the perimeter, circles the storm. It gathers crucial upper-level atmospheric information. Weather radar data is collected from 45,000 feet, then sent to the National Hurricane Center.
We work as a team, really talented group of individuals to look at the hazards, put the mitigations in place to make sure that we get through the storm safely.
Teamwork from the upper levels of the atmosphere, partnerships on the ground. Throughout the hurricane season, weather experts are hard at work at the National Hurricane Center interpreting data in efforts to give us as much practical and potentially life-saving information as possible.
Living on the coast, I saw it the last 10 years in New Orleans. It's all about having the information. It's about, of course it goes back to knowing your risk, and if you're in the surge zone, you got to know your evacuation zone. If you're evacuated and told to evacuate, you have to get somewhere. It may not be far, but you have to get out of the water zone. That's one of the big efforts that we talk about all the time. But it's having the latest forecast. The forecast changes, and something else that we have to remember, and this isn't easy. We set a record last season with the accuracy of our track forecast, an absolute record. The better we get, the smaller the cone.
For First Lieutenant Freilich, a real-life childhood experience that shaped her life, creating a weather expert determined to help others plan and prepare. Tropical weather. It is unpredictable and every storm is different. Emergency managers and first responders stress the best defense against the unknown nature of Mother Nature is to plan and prepare. Take the time before a storm is approaching to have a plan to keep yourself, your loved ones, and your property safe. I'm Julia Yarbo. Thanks for joining us.
For a list of important resources and emergency phone numbers, visit miamibeachfl.gov and search for the 2018 Hurricane Guide. For the latest updates before, during, and after a storm, tune in to MB Radio 1670 AM and follow the city on Facebook and Twitter. For further information, call the city's hotline at 305-604-2489 or Miami-Dade County's information hotline at 311.